Each time a woman stands for herself, without knowing it possibly, without claiming it, she stands up for all of you. Good evening to all dignitaries, guests, parents, and our well-wishers. With great joy and immense exultation, I feel privileged to warmly welcome you all to the 65th Virtual Founders Day of Sindhya Kanya Vidyalaya. We fondly remember Her Highness Srimant Rajmata Vijaya Raje Sindhya, who envisioned little girls with dreams to become women with vision. In the current scenario, violence against women forces them into subordinate positions compared to men. But at the same time, we've also seen women who have risen with a spine of steel and rolled like a thunder. She has become fierce and much stronger, full of fire, which she is no longer ready to suppress within herself, because her passion has burned brighter than her fears. Nothing has stopped her to sit around feeling sorry for herself. She has not even let people dictate her or try to bring her down. She has proved that she is a survivor and not a victim. Sindhya Kanya Vidyalaya stands united in solidarity to salute such women who have burned themselves and emerged from their own ashes like a phoenix. It's an honor for me to be a part of this great edifice of education. I once again extend my warm greetings of peace and love to all of you to partake in the most awaited celebration of the year. Thank you.
The past academic year proved to be challenging. Nevertheless, under the able leadership and guidance of our principal, Mrs. Nishi Misra, the school not only pursued more projects but also set new standards in various fields. I now call upon Principal Ma'am to deliver the annual report.
Greetings on the occasion of the 65th Founders Day of Sindhya Kanya Vidyalaya. It is my proud privilege as principal to extend a warm welcome to our chief guest today, Padma Shri Mrs. Shobna Bhartiya. I welcome our President Board of Governors, Srimant Rajmata Madhavi Raje Sindhya, members of Board of Governors, all members of the parent community of SKV, our respected former teachers and alumni, my colleagues on the SKV staff, and my dear students. Each year we celebrate this day with much excitement and enthusiasm, for it is the birth anniversary of our founder, late Rajmata Vijaya Raje Sindhya. She created this school as a shrine to learning and knowledge for women. On this 65th Founders Day, it is our privilege to welcome as our chief guest, Mrs. Shobna Bhartiya, Chairperson and Editorial Director at HT Media Limited, India's largest listed media company, which is a part of India's illustrious Birla Group. Mrs. Bhartiya is a prominent business leader and statesperson in India. Her grandfather, Mr. G.D. Birla, was a pioneering industrialist and co-founded the English daily Hindustan Times in 1924. She became the first and the youngest woman to become the chief executive of a national newspaper. Her efforts for diversification and expansion led the company to win various global awards, including the Best Media Company in India to work for. Mrs. Bhartiya is a recipient of the prestigious Padma Shri for excellence in journalism. She was a presidential nominee for the Rajya Sabha from 2006 to 12. Mrs. Bhartiya has numerous prestigious awards and recognitions to her name. Sustainable Leadership Icon Award by the Asian Business Leadership Forum, National Order of the Legion of Honor, the French Republic's highest civilian award for her work in the field of journalism, Global Leadership Award by US India Business Council, Media Person of the Year by IAA Leadership Awards, Businesswoman of the Year by the Economic Times, Entrepreneur of the Year by Ernst & Young, Global Leader Tomorrow by World Economic Forum. Mrs. Shobna Bhartiya has displayed leadership and governance roles in several prestigious institutions. She is on the advisory board of leading organizations like London School of Economics, Blavatnik School of Government, Oxford University. She is Pro-Chancellor of Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani. She has served as Chairperson, Press Trust of India, and member, Board of Directors of Indian Airlines, National Institute of Fashion Technology, National Institute of Design, Columbia Journalism School, New York, and is a member of the Board of Governors at Sindhya Kanya Vidyalaya. I extend a warm welcome to you, ma'am, and express our deep gratitude for the priceless contributions that you continually make for the progress of our school as a member of the Board of Governors. It is equally significant that your esteemed grandfather, Shri G.D. Birla ji, was one of the founding members of our Board of Governors alongside our founder, late Rajmata Vijaya Raje Scindia in 1956. It is a singular honor to have you with us today, albeit virtually, and I hope that things will soon be congenial for your in-person visit to our school. I now commence my annual report for the year 2021-22, beginning with the academic performance of our students. I am happy to report that although this year the board examinations were not held and results were tabulated on the basis of a formula given by CBSE, our students have acquitted themselves well. In class 10, the class average was 84.83%. The toppers were Sejal Jain with 94.8%, Saivira Gupta and Pratna Agarwal with 94.6%. 30% students scored above 90% marks. 80% students got above 80% marks, and 95% students scored above 70% marks. In class 12, the class average was 90.6%. The class toppers were Ojas Yadav with 98.2% humanities, Diksha Jajodia 98.2% science, Meghna Taparia 96.8% commerce. In class 12, 54% students scored above 90% marks, and 99% students scored above 80% marks. The students secured prestigious placements in Indian and foreign universities. Ojas Yadav secured admission in New York University, Abu Dhabi with 100% financial aid. Students secured placements in 15 universities in UK, USA, Singapore, and Australia. In India, our children were placed at Lady Shri Ram College, Convent of Jesus and Mary, and many other colleges of Delhi University. They also found places at Christ College, Bangalore, and St. Xavier's, Kolkata, to name a few. As Mahatma Gandhi said, education means an all-round drawing of the best in child and man, in body, mind, and spirit. Our school faculty and staff gave an example of stoic sacrifice as they moved out from their homes, leaving their families behind to live on campus before the arrival of the students. For them, we organized wellness sessions by experts like Ms. Deepthi Thakur, clinical psychologist, and Ms. Nishi Joshi, who took a session on dance movements. Our own resident staff made them feel welcome and comfortable. I express my heartfelt gratitude to all my colleagues and staff of SKV for their untiring and exemplary work ethic. The Students' Wellness Program was similarly conducted after the check-in of students. They shared their experiences of the past months and how they imagined life would be going forward, and how happy they were to come back to school. Co-curricular activities are those activities that set up children for greatness. We give opportunities for our students to believe that when you are really good, no one is competition. SKV was the overall winner of the Jindal Art Fest in August this year. Our super talented students bagged top positions in various categories. Sumati Agarwal in pot designing, Vibhuti Singh in Hindi storytelling, Anisha Gupta in movie making, Manasvi Sharan in dance. At the International Virtual Art Competition, Tanvi Singh was awarded the first position and Gauri Agarwal was runner-up. Vidhi Ganeriwala was runner-up among 42 schools at the Turncoat debate organized by Sunbeam School. Vidhi also secured second position in the national cooking competition organized by Heritage School, Udaipur. In the IPSC IT Fest, high commendation was received by Shreya Prasad in programming, Ananya Diwan and Sanskriti Shivhare in stills and installation. Arshia Rawal won first position in extempore. Sumiti Agarwal received the Spotlight Award in Design for Recycle and Reuse category as well as Mathematical Art category, while Nandini Singh got honorable mention in Embroidery category in IPSC Art Fest hosted by Assam Valley School. At the IPSC Literary Fest, Plaksha and Sudiksha received certificates of excellence for debating, while Ritika Kumar received the certificate of excellence for her recital of the poem Samar Shesh Hai by the renowned poet Ramdhari Singh Dinkar. At the Amity Model United Nations, Plaksha Gargasya, Ananya Satish, Inora Dasgupta and Arya Pathardikar received the Verbal Mention Award. Lavanya Singh received the Special Mention Award among 180 delegates. Junior most delegate and a novice MUNer, Arya Pathardikar received the Commendation Award in the MUN organized by Singapore International School, Mumbai. In the IPSC MUN, Lavanya Singh and Sanjukta Chakrabarti bagged Outstanding Research Award in the UNHRC committee. Vrinda Bansal and Vibhuti Singh received Special Mention Awards in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha respectively. If competition inspires a person to rise beyond his peers, collaboration inspires them all to succeed together. We held a collaborative webinar with the Doon School under the umbrella of IPSC. As SKV is ranked highest in the Pastoral Care Department in the C4 and Education World Survey, we shared our processes and best practices in pastoral care. The speakers were principals and heads of pastoral departments of both schools. The SKV speaker was Ms. Garima Sandhu, Coordinator Students Welfare. SKV takes very seriously its commitment of giving the world to our students before we give our students to the world. Aniben Rai was selected to spend one term at a school in Japan under the Asia Kakehashi program. Amra Chandra was awarded a fully sponsored AFS Global U Adventure program. Under Round Square, students took full advantage of the numerous conferences, dialogues and discussions with students globally. The Providence Day School USA discussed from crisis to creation, life after pandemic. The Chadwick International School South Korea hosted a virtual conference on leaders of the future. The Chittagong Grammar School Bangladesh held a conference on the culture and heritage of various nations. The Craighouse School Chile theme was Living in a Boundless World, while the Millennium School Dubai discussed the art of growing up, highlighting the concept of emotional intelligence. Our students attended Samanta, a gender equality global perspective symposium hosted by the Dhirubhai Ambani International School, Mumbai. With the King's College Jordan, they had discussions on the question, should we explore space or delve down into the depths of the ocean? In our French connection, the students who have opted for French routinely go for virtual trips to cities in France to learn about the language, culture, and lifestyle of the French. Ishika Gupta of grade 9 was selected for the month-long Spain Intercultural Language Program at San Stanislao de Costa, a residence school in Malaga, Spain. Ria Agarwal, Ishika Gulati, and Ananya Satish completed their four-week-long exchange to Denmark this month. I always say, you can take a girl out of SKV, but you cannot take SKV out of the girl. Our alumni are the ambassadors of brand SKV. Their achievements fill us with pride. This year, several of our alumni became published authors. Mandakini Tomar published her first book, How to Rise and Shine When the Universe Gives You a Kick. The book had a preface from Sabha Patodi. Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Suprita Kalra, class of 1997, published her first short book on Kindle named When Life Gives You Lemons, Ordinary Women, Extraordinary Lives. Ajita Swaroop Saran authored Man Ki Kalam Se, displaying creative sensibility in her maiden work. Alumni from the field of data science, medicine, civil services participated in webinars to keep our students updated on better career choices. I thank all of them for their efforts and their affection. The class of 1996 celebrated their 25th year of passing out. We wish they could have been here on campus and hope that someday, soon, when things are safe, our wish will be a reality. I am specially excited to share the recognitions and awards received by SKV faculty. Ms. Indu Chaturvedi, HOD Indian Languages, received the TIP Inspiring Educators Award 2021. Ms. Vaishali Srivastava received an award at Shikshak Abhinandan Samaroh by Gwalior Vikas Samiti. Ms. Kavita Bisht and Ms. Avantika Kushwaha were recognized for mathematical content creation organized by the Shiv Nadar School, Noida. Ms. Otima Ragaza was selected among the 75 top international educators to be featured in Microsoft's Virtual Museum. She also received the Bharatiya Shiksha Ratan Award by National Institute of Education, Global Talk Education Foundation and MSME. Mrs. Medha Gupta, IT Head of SKV, was awarded by AICTE and GUVI for building a face recognition application using Python. Congratulations, and I wish you many, many more successes. As Ivan Illich said, so persuasive is the power of institutions that they shape not only our preferences, but actually our sense of possibilities. Therefore, throughout the pandemic, we created new possibilities from the challenges that we faced. Our founder, late Rajmata Vijaya Raje Scindia, shaped Scindia Kanya Vidyalaya in its infancy. 65 years on, we can proudly say that now Scindia Kanya Vidyalaya shapes leaders. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, ma'am. Our founder, Her Highness Srimant Rajmata Vijaya Raje Scindia, had a vision for this school, a vision to provide infinite possibilities for enriching the lives of the girls studying here and making them achievers in all walks of life, to develop the abilities in every student, to entice their creativity, to foster a spirit of autonomy, and to develop the sense of responsibility towards the society has been the aim of the school. Today, the school stands tall and has emerged as the premier institution in girls' education. The legacy left behind by her has been raised and upheld with high standards by Her Highness Rajmata Madhvi Raje Scindia, President Board of Governors. I warmly welcome Her Highness for her welcome address.
Members of the Board of Governors, parents, principal, teachers, and dear students, I wish you a very happy 65th Founders Day and hope that everyone is safe and well. The challenges brought about by the pandemic continue to prevent us from celebrating our Founders Day in person on the campus. However, the school community is so well knit together that we share a togetherness despite being at distances from each other. Visionaries like my late mother-in-law and my husband had the foresight to envision a school like Scindia Kanya Vidyalaya, which would be strongly rooted in the great Indian tradition while simultaneously aspiring for success in a contemporary world. Their vision is as relevant today as it was in the early history of the school. I congratulate the board class students on their excellent results despite the unusual evaluation system practiced this year. Your outstanding results have made all of us extremely proud. The principal, teachers, and students also deserve our heartfelt appreciation for the exemplary work they have done during these troubled times. Besides academics, the students at SKV get tremendous opportunities for participation in co-curricular activities. Our school strives to empower our students with inclusive, multidisciplinary thinking, tolerance for others, and a global outlook. I extend my appreciation to all the students who have achieved merit awards and hope that you will continue working towards higher accomplishments. I hope that we'll soon be reunited in an atmosphere of good health and safety. I wish that 2022 will bring good health, prosperity, and happiness to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Highness. Our chief guest, Padma Shri, Ms. Shobnam Bhartiya, doesn't require an introduction, as she is a well-recognized figure in the field of journalism. I am extremely overwhelmed to invite her to address us on this auspicious occasion of our 65th Annual Founders' Day.
Son of Scindia Kanya Vidyalaya, Rajmata Madhvi Raje Scindia, members of the Board of Governors, Principal Nishi Mishra, and dear students. A young woman with an indomitable spirit, Malala Yousafzai, once said, and I quote, "There are two powers in the world. One is the sword and the other is the pen. There is a third power stronger than both, that of women." On this momentous day, the 65th Founders' Day of Scindia Kanya Vidyalaya, I congratulate every one of you. To the principal, teachers, and staff, congratulations on your tireless work in the country's most important sector. To the students, congratulations on your steadfast efforts to learn every day despite obstacles and hindrances that come your way. This last year has been a trying time for India's schools, and I applaud your spirit. Scindia Kanya Vidyalaya is an exemplary school of which I am privileged to be on the Board of Governors. And I stand before you today, albeit virtually, with a message of hope for all of you, young, bright women who I believe are the future of this country. So here's my story. I was 27 years old when I took my first step into an industry stubbornly dominated by men. The year was 1985, long before anyone would see what the new millennium would bring. I was young, full of ideas, and eager to work in the media. But every room I walked into and every meeting I attended, there was a deafening silence that often came with my presence. And this silence spelled out the words, "You don't have it in you," or "You're not enough." Nonetheless, I persisted. I worked for months, shifting from one department to the next, circulation, advertising, production, editorial, and often found myself in the same room as cynics who didn't take me seriously. My age, gender, and the nature of the industry were not in my favor. Even in my interactions with various stakeholders, I navigated deep-rooted and often unconscious gender biases, both within the organization and outside of it. At the time, the ecosystem was not conducive to women, and empowerment was not easily attainable. I remember thinking that I wanted to beat the system. But for the first 10 years, I faced pushback from even within the organization. For instance, I saw the synergy between print and video, and we were amongst the pioneers in launching a private TV channel. At that time, technology costs were very high, and the markets were not that mature, and not getting the full buy-in of your organization, especially when the television industry was at a very nascent stage, it derailed the performance of our TV channel. I felt discouraged, but I continued with fervor in my other endeavors within the newspaper. It was the beginning of the 21st century when the tide began to shift. And now, talking to you, I can say this with some certainty that the world is not as difficult as it used to be. The girls and women of today are more empowered than ever before, with no dream too big or too far out of reach. This is the consequence of more young women like all of you going to school and pursuing an education, and more women demanding a space of their own, like I did in various industries. That makes me think back to a time when I demanded a space of my own. I was the vice chairperson of the Hindustan Times and had a meeting with the CEO of a Japanese company which sold state-of-the-art printing presses. Just as we greeted, I gestured to the CEO to have a seat so that we could kickstart the meeting. He declined, saying that he was waiting for the vice chairperson, Mr. Shobna Bhartiya. Instantly amused at his presumption that his meeting was with a man, I said to him, I, a woman, was the vice chairperson and that this meeting was with me. I looked apologetic. I will never forget the look of shock in his eyes that a woman could be in the driver's seat. It also occurred to me then that his mindset was not unusual at the time and that most men would have been just as shocked, if not more. From then to now, I have watched as mindsets and attitudes evolved and avenues opened for more women in the workforce. I do believe that this is a more exciting time for young women like all of you to broaden your horizons and pursue whatever you want. However, the world today, despite its advances, remains challenging to navigate as a woman. Women face more barriers than men, are often not encouraged, and are forced to go against the flow. But we are living in paradoxical times, and because studies have proved time and again that organizations from everywhere, from industries to government, have seen tremendous growth and function far more efficiently with women at the helm. From ensuring a better work ethic to displaying more empathy, women leaders make workplaces more integrated and inclusive. And to go from a demographic that was often left out of the workspace to now bringing more people is a victory in itself. And of course, these changes are also hugely beneficial to our companies and at large a country's growth. When I think of extraordinary women leaders, both young and old, a few of them stand out. The incomparable political leader from New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, skillfully managed COVID-19 and through her policies in the last few years pushed for equality and inclusive excellence in her country. The young and ferocious climate activist Greta Thunberg took on the world leaders on the world's most pressing issue, climate change, as all of you would know. The formidable PepsiCo CEO Indira Nooyi and India's Lieutenant General Madhuri Kanitkar have paved the way for young girls to dream big in every field. And it would be remiss of me if I did not share the pivotal role that women have played recently in sport, and this past year has seen so many of them outdo themselves and come home with various events after performing extraordinary feats. From the tough and fearless Indian cricket captain Mithali Raj, who recently became the highest run getter in the country, to Olympians like PV Sindhu, Saikom, Mirabai Chanu, and Mary Kom, who have all fought all odds to land a spot in the podium, and Paralympic champion Avni Lekhera, who never gave up on her dreams. These are only a few examples of the vigor and grit of young women. These female voices, like countless others, have made the world a little better, a little more inclusive, and a little more equitable. And that is what I set out to do as well. After a decade of working my way up through the organization and familiarizing myself with its inner working, I decided that change was necessary. From a legacy organization in a not so competitive time, I wanted it to evolve into a younger, more agile one. It was at that time heavily dominated by the voice of the paper, and its appeal was as a legacy brand. It wasn't cutting edge. So I decided that to stay relevant to the audiences of all ages and attract younger readers, we had to change our mindsets. Our readers and the market were moving on, and we had to keep pace with them. This called for a transformation of the organization. In simple terms, from being a newspaper, we had to become a newsroom, forming a bridge with customers in multiple ways, through the paper itself, of course, but the website, the mobile app, podcasts, videos, and this is something all of you will immediately relate to: Instagram. This called for training people and, more importantly, finding people with the right skills and attitude. So what's my advice to all of you? As a woman leader in business, I'm curious and eager to see what your generation brings to the table when it is your time to work. I do believe that there are a few things that every young woman must do in her pursuit of excellence. Arm yourself with an education. It is a cornerstone of success. Be brave. No dream is too big. Ignore all the naysayers, and in a world still dominated by men, there will be a few in your way, but pay no heed. and most importantly, seize power, for it is yours to take. These spaces are yours to fill, and don't believe anyone who tells you otherwise. In the same breath, I also believe that leaders in general and women in particular must manage their personal finances well. For it's not about the figures on your bank account, but about independence and security. The irony here is that women have proved to be better money managers than men. Lastly, and most beneficial to women world over, manage your time well. The responsibility of running a home and taking care of the family and children, all while working towards their goals, falls more on women than men. While I do believe that there's been a great progress in this aspect with more men pitching in at home, it wasn't always the case. I learned young that the quality of time matters far more than the quantity of time, be it at the time you spend with your family, your work, or your hobbies. You may not have the time to do everything every day, but you can make every minute count. As a working mom, this was my biggest armor. I had children who were 7 and 9 years old when I set out to work, and even though I didn't have more than a few hours a day with them, I can never say I didn't have quality time with my children. Many believe that the world is run by 3 C's: competence, confidence, and credibility. I agree, but there is more. Women leaders across the board have proved that for a better world, we need 3 more C's: compassion, courage, and command. Women have proved they can excel when given the reins. So take hold of it. Today, challenges may still be plenty, but opportunities are too. And as the quiet revolution of women empowerment begins across the world, leadership in its truest sense is about charting your own path. In business, art, sport, politics, or even if you decide as homemakers, find your purpose and make conscious choices to pursue it. To the new women of the 21st century, I'm here to pass on this clear message. Women leaders are a prerequisite for a better world. Dream big. Your generation should, as a collective, shift the tide in favor of women everywhere. And so, to you, I say the opposite of what I was often told: you do have it in you, you are enough. I believe it is the next generation, your generation, that women leaders can move from being the exception to becoming the norm. And it starts right here in the classroom in school. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now we have the most awaited event, the annual prize distribution. The medals and trophies in different categories have been earned by the students after a lot of hard work and dedication exhibited last year. First, we have the Maharaja Jivaji Rao Scindia Medal for securing the highest aggregate in Class 12. This medal goes to Ojas Yadav. The V.K. Pawar Trophy for securing the highest aggregate in Class 12 in Humanities goes to Ojas Yadav. The President's Gold Medal for securing the highest aggregate in Class 12 in Science stream has been awarded to Diksha Jajodia. The Ichha Anand Medal for securing the highest aggregate in Class 12 in Commerce stream is given to Meghna Taparia. The Flora Wilson Trophy for securing the highest marks in Class 12 in History goes to Paridhi Agrawal. The Dungaji Trophy for securing the highest marks in Class 12 in Home Science has been earned by Kavya Sharma. The Ghosh Trophy for securing the highest marks in Class 12 in English has been earned by Ojas Yadav, Diksha Jajodia, Paki Gupta, Ahana Trivedi, Ananya Kadam, and Vishweshwari Devraj. The Bajoria Biani Trophy for securing the highest marks in class 12th in computer science has been earned by Vanshika Agrawal.
The Maharaja Madhav Rao Sindhia Medal for securing the highest aggregate in class 10th goes to Sejal Jain. Dr. B.K. Trivedi Trophy for excellent performance in the middle section goes to Kalpana. The Deepthi Pujari Trophy for securing the highest aggregate in class 6th goes to Anvi Gupta. King Constantine Medal for notable contribution to round square goes to Harsha Chandani. The Spirit of SKV Trophy for presenting values of SKV and Indian culture goes to Sudiksha Agarwal. Meenakshi Dhondiyal Award for outstanding human values goes to Devika Agarwal. Kalidas Trophy is won by Yashodhara House. Shakespeare Trophy is won by Usha House. Cultural Trophy is won by Yashodhara House.